So I'd like to call to order this Thursday, February 17th, 2022 meeting of the Springfield Historical Commission. We have Commissioners Walsh, Nardi, McFarland, and Walter Kroll present. In order to enable municipal government to continue its important work during the COVID-19 pandemic while ensuring both city employees and citizens can satisfy CDC social distancing guidelines, City of Springfield is providing public notice and will conduct a public hearing utilizing remote technology. Copies of said petition text maps may be requested by email or phone. Email should be directed to the Office of Planning and Economic Development at aallen@springfieldcityhall.com or by calling 413-787-6020. To view the public hearing, it's Focus Springfield Community TV website. Public commentary will be taken in two segments. The first public commentary period to take place prior to the meeting discussion. The second public comment period will be after the meeting, will remain open for 24 hours after the meeting. To provide for public comment in writing, mail the Springfield Historic Commission, 70 Tapley Street, Springfield, Mass. 01104, or email AALLEN Springfield City Hall at springfieldcityhall.com. To provide for public comment by voicemail, 413-750-3223. Messages received will be played at the Historical Commission hearing or at the continued hearing date. All commenters should state their name, address, company, or affiliation, organization affiliation, in addition to the items their comments pertain to. Voice messages received 24 hours before the hearing will be put to the record during the public hearing, and comments after the meeting will be entered at the continued date for the hearing. Voice messages are limited to 2 minutes. To request a reasonable accommodation in our language service, please call 413-787-6020.
Commissioner Walsh, I'd just like to recognize Commissioner Belton on the call.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Belton, thanks for joining
Yes.
us.
Thank you.
Okay. Just mark that. Okay. Well, the first continued hearing is the hearing at 92 Ferglade Avenue. It's an application for certificate of appropriateness to repair and rebuild the front first floor porch to be full open porch as was original. It was some siding repair, window casings. This is no change. Door casings, no change. Corner boards, no change. Cornices, no change. Shutters, no change. Freeze boards, no change. Front porch. I know there was some discussion about materials. So, Mr. Boyer, would you like to update us on this?
So the materials that are going to be used are the frame structure is going to be lumber, pressure treated wood. And then we use the columns are going to be a PVC wrapped wood post. I did submit. I sent Mr. Allen some photos of a similar type of post what we would be using over there. And we do a vinyl PVC heavy duty, I should state, not just a real thin, flimsy type of lattice. It's a pretty rigid, heavy duty lattice with a frame around it to resemble the look and appearance of the originals that were done back in period correct times.
Okay.
I do have a little sample with me, so I could hold it up and you can see how rigid it is.
Yeah, we may have that. Just hang on to that for a second. I just wanted to go over a little bit here because I know that we had discussed the materials in the last meeting.
Yep.
And now so these are going to end up being the square columns and not round ones, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And I guess a couple of them are already square or something. I think we noticed that. It's hard always to remember everything that we said in the last one, but yeah, those
currently there's only one column that's really visible now because the porch is currently enclosed with storm windows.
Right. Let me just, I got it here. I just right. In the one that shows and the one to the left side, it look like they're square ones already.
Yes.
is there, now, did we determine what the railings were gonna be? Because I know part of what we were concerned about was if there were railings underneath, because if there weren't, we need to know what's gonna be,
Railings we're going to use are a composite material, like a hard, dense, basically a fiberglass rail with a
Okay.
vinyl coat over it.
Right, so there were no original railings underneath any of that that enclosures?
My guess is going to be no, but I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
taken any of that apart, so I don't know.
Okay. All right, well, that's part of what we talked about, so I didn't know if you'd looked into it or not.
Some of these photos here, these columns are very similar to what we would propose to do.
Right.
Um,
Now, is there, let me just get back to your original, and in the meantime, any commissioners who have any questions, just jump in while I'm shuffling papers here. This is to be full open porches was the original, okay. Is there any notation on the front steps here? Let me see.
there isn't, but the front steps are the full width between the two original columns
Right,
that are directly under the second floor porch.
right. I mean, is there any material? Are you gonna just replicate those the way they are currently, or are you gonna leave the ones that are there?
The ones that are there, no, they're going to get replaced
Okay,
with a matching material that we're going to use, which is, again, pressure treated frame. And we wrap the perimeters and the kickboards with a PVC trim board. And then the PVC deck boards are used for treads.
okay. Now the railings, because the original railings are fairly decorative, is there any attempt to replicate those?
Original railings are too low, right, to today's standards.
No, it's okay in a historic district. In fact, you can make them the historic height. They don't have to meet the higher standard. They should, which we did say in the last meeting, that those should be the proper historic height.
Oh, I can make our rails. These look like they're on that original old photo. They just look like a square spindle rail.
Yeah, but the top rail is different. It's, on each end, it looks like it's got a little something going on there.
The top rail is different. I believe it looks like it's got a I don't know, like a little dog leg up to the column or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a vinyl product, I will not be replicating that, but we can replicate that height.
Okay.
And with those trim pieces on the columns, like you see there, we've got a trim piece that's 6 inches or so above the rails.
Yeah.
We could duplicate that, and a nice bottom plinth block. That's
Are these products you're using? Are they at least are they mimicking wood in any way, or are they just straight flat vinyl plastic?
no artificial wood grain on them. No, they're smooth surface, just like you would have a clean piece of wood that's painted. It's a relatively smooth surface.
Okay. Any commissioners have any questions? Can't hear you, Al.
So I understand you're agreeing that the height of the top rail will be as seen in that photograph.
Question to me, sir?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can duplicate that height if that's if building code accepts that. Yes, we definitely would do it.
yeah,
And typically,
Yeah,
I used to find those to be 28 to 30 inches high.
yeah.
So we
I'm
could
pretty sure the building department will allow it, because it's been some discussion back and forth on other properties regarding that.
Well, in a historic district, historic height is
Yeah.
allowed.
Right, only in the historic district.
Yeah, only in a historic district. And
Commissioners, if I can interject.
please do.
If the property owner has any issues with the historic height, or if she has small children or whatever, however,
Do the black
Uh,
pipe thing.
yeah, she may certainly put a black pipe rail between each post to give that extra height above the rail.
Right. We more or less hashed that out the last meeting. We were just talking about what, if there was anything under there that was savable, or that could be duplicated. So it was more closely resembling what was there before. I am concerned about the materials in some of this. Is it paintable? Is it going to be painted at any different colors? Or is it just going to be bright white? Bright white plastic is not usually approved for some of these applications. For the columns, we have, under certain circumstances, approved columns to replace.
All this trim work is paintable. To what color the owner would want to paint that, I have no idea,
Yeah.
but it is paintable.
Any commissioners have any issues with the material?
Mr. Bolio, hey, it's Walter Kroll. Do you have a render? Is there pictures? The pictures you provided, is that what you're thinking the railings are going to look like? Is that like an example of the railings you'd be using here?
Well, he gave us two different kinds. I don't know if you have it. He gave us. Oops, Alvin's going to put them up for you.
Yeah.
Well, that rail that you see right there, that rail is at a 32 or 36 inch height. Definitely could be reduced to a 30 inch or 28 inch height to give it more the period appropriate height. But 1.5 inch square spindles with a somewhat decorative top. I agree, it does not have the little dog legs on each end that roll back up to the columns.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the height's one thing. I think the concern is always, again, with historic, what it looks like, right? So if you have something that's wood, you're trying to emulate something that looks like wood, and vinyl, not all vinyl products kind of lend themselves to that. So I'm just trying to get an idea of what the railing would look like. What's the top handrail look like, the spindles themselves, and then just the general look. Like if I'm standing at the street and I'm looking at this brand new porch that you did, does it kind of blend in? Does it look like it fits on a historic house, or does it look like something different, something new?
I think it does, but you guys are the historic experts. You need to, determine. I guarantee from a distance, you can't tell if that's a piece of painted wood, as far as the PVC wrap we do around the perimeter of the porch, or the lattice frame, or even the columns. You can't tell if it's a wood that's been painted or PVC that's not been painted, but PVC can be painted if somebody wishes to change the colors.
Yeah.
I mean, the lattice could definitely be painted a black color, and the frames around it could be a burgundy color if you want. It's up to the owner to paint. We're not painting anything. Everything we're going to leave is going to be white.
And Al, were these in Springfield, or where did these come
This
from?
particular house that we're looking at right here is on James Street in Holyoke, or it could be St. James in Holyoke.
Right. And there's another picture you sent with a whole completely different kind of railing with the spindles.
Yeah, these had the turn spindles. If we did, and this was just we're just kind of trying to show how neat and clean it could look.
Mm-hmm.
The lattice framing, particularly this was used with a diamond pattern lattice. We seem to be using more of the square one recently. That's what folks seem to like, as opposed to the diamond pattern.
Well,
this house is in Chicopee, by the way.
Can we determine the lattice pattern on the original of the old picture?
Best I can see when I look at it, it looks like a square lattice.
Yeah, it's not diagonal or star. It's
square, I think, right?
Yeah. Let's try one more time. Okay.
Ooh, this one's got the teeth.
Yeah, I can't really get too much of a feel for that there. Okay. Okay.
spoke to Mr. Lalick today and mentioned to her that, you know, there was questions about the lattice and she was very concerned with chunks getting under there, so. At them and they're around.
There's almost no way to stop that when that happens, but
Oh, I know. And just
You know,
at least if there's something there to deter them.
right. I'm just looking at the picture of the house the way it is now. And of course, obviously that lattice is not anything we'd like. And you're going to recreate some of the detail of the columns. How far apart are the spindles or they're going to be on the the railings?
Spindles are spaced 3.5 inches apart.
Okay. Okay, I'm just in the floor of the deck. I know I might have a note about that here. The deck floor is going to be what?
The deck floor is a 5/4 by 6 PVC deck board with hidden fasteners.
Okay.
And I think on one of the photos, that picture of that Holyoke house, it has, you may be able to see that, a little bit of that floor there.
Okay. Have you priced this out for them in original materials by any chance?
Can I show you something?
Sure.
Right here, I've got 2 different pieces of material that could be used to wrap.
Mhm.
Can you tell which one is PVC and which one is wood?
Well, certainly not over this camera. I can't. Here's part of my issue. The other commissioners I wish would chime in. I don't know that we've ever approved an entire change to PVC on a deck porch rebuild ever. The problem is, if we do, then it's likely to be interpreted as this is the material. I'd like to know that it mimics wood as closely as possible. I mean, I'm concerned about the railings being more historically accurate, but any other commissioners? Oh,
Look at the thickness. I don't know if you could see that. This is
Yeah,
not a flimsy.
no, it's not. We're not. I apologize.
No, because there are some flimsy.
Yeah, there certainly
vinyl
are. The
lattice.
stuff on there looks like it's pretty flimsy. So I'm sure it would be a sturdier product. Commissioners, your opinions, please.
Is there any way that we could have like a physical piece of the material provided to Alvin so we could, at our leisure, drive by his office and look at it?
Okay, well,
What piece of material would that be, sir?
whatever you got in your hand, I imagine.
Oh, the lat. Yeah, for sure. I could drop off a piece of.
I mean, normally it's the flooring. I just can't get a feel for what the flooring is going to look like, because I have seen flooring that they look like decks. They don't look like original historic porches, depending on the direction and the edge, how they edge it. Of course, I'm using my hands. You can't see that. So I still have concerns about the railing and the materials. I mean, we know you do good work. It's not about that. It's about, what is that a picture of? Is that what's there now?
That's something that Commissioner already sent, so I'll let you.
Okay.
If
So
you-
that's not, I
That's,
thought
if you,
maybe that was a different angle of the same house.
no,
It's a
actually,
different house.
actually, that's next door. I just pulled it up on Google, and to the left of the house is this house with the yellow clapboards. That's the area underneath the porch. So it could have been something similar to that.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know.
We could duplicate something like that if that was
Yeah,
a must-have.
Well, I have no problem with the, with the style of that. I'm him and Han here over materials because I've just never seen that material group approved before. And,
Can I,
go ahead. Who's looking to speak? Commissioner Nardi? Go ahead.
no, the little dog leg in the top rail can't be created in the vinyl, as we know, but I think Al had said that they could duplicate something, a trim around the column, something like the plinth is down below,
Yeah.
but a little smaller. That will help create some of this detail that you're looking for.
Yeah. Well, I understand that railing that was originally there, that's something that's nearly, I don't want to say impossible, but nearly impossible to replicate.
Well,
I don't wanna
we have replicated it in wood in other places, but
Yeah.
not in vinyl.
Well, it definitely could be replicated in wood. If they made it then, man or woman today can make that again. Just what's it going to cost?
Right. I mean, there's obviously, I understand that the railing, since we have really no description here of what the railing is going to be, we'd have to come to that agreement today.
I would be happy to drop off a piece of railing, a piece of deck board, a piece or two of deck board. And the deck board we could use, I think we added for the 5/4, which you're right, looks like a deck board, but I can also get a PVC tongue and groove porch flooring, very similar to the old school fir flooring that you would see, tongue and groove, but it's all PVC material.
Right.
And use that for the floor, along with, I can get a sample of railing, a piece of PVC trim board, the piece of lattice, and the flooring, if that would help sway the board's decision.
The way I really am encouraging other commissioners to jump in on this.
I have a thought, Commissioner.
Go ahead,
Well,
Commissioner McFarland.
a lot of times I've seen PVC used to replicate, and it can do a good job of replication. But when you normally see that, it's in conjunction with wood. So it's mixed material and not strictly one or the other. Because some of the things that you can do with the PVC can replicate the wood, and then there's some things that it's kind of cost prohibitive. So I just thought I'd share that thought.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I understand that it really looks nice sometimes. My main point of this last kind of 5 minutes is that I don't know that we've ever approved purely PVC repairs or replacement on a porch. Not without very specific, we've never done it, but on some of the items, very specific, like columns, we've had columns illustrated and measured and said, and this is what they are, and they duplicate very well. And I appreciate, Al, that you are going to make some of these historic trim pieces. On the top, let me just backtrack a second here. On the top, I want to get back to the original picture. There's really nothing definitive up on the top. There's some column issues where it meets the top of the porch.
You could have a crown molding, a small crown. Molding,
I can't really tell from
ring.
that. Yeah, there's a little trim about 6 inches down below, and okay, but it would be easy to replicate.
But I think if you look back, if Mr. Allen could put that picture back up of that Holyoke house, those columns are pretty nicely trimmed out with some, and other items can be put in there as well.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I was actually saying that I appreciate that those details will be made. Here on this picture you put up there, the way that the railings attached to the posts, I don't know if, it wouldn't be done that way. I'm not sure if there's another way you can do that. That wouldn't be I don't know, in the height. Yeah, we've hashed that over. How are we on time on this one, Alvin? I can't. hold on, let me find it.
You should have at least another meeting.
Okay, and I hate to drag it out, but I would like to see this material. Let me just suggest this, if anybody would like to make a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness at this time, I'd entertain that motion. I would ask that that we continue for one more meeting, just to get a look at material, so we know exactly what it's going to look like up there.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes, go ahead.
If I could just add to that, Al, one of the things that's really helped me, especially when we're talking about really transforming the whole front, is to be able to see it somewhere else. So I appreciate that you shared those photos. Are you able to share the addresses? So if we wanted to go look at it, to just kind of see what it looks like from the street?
Sure.
That would be very beneficial for me, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to envision, is everything you've described. Once it's done, what's it really look like? That's kind of helped us a lot when people propose something that's a little new and a little different. It's one thing to see a sample, it's one thing to see a picture on a Zoom call, but when you're kind of standing there, that's kind of the proof in the pudding. So that would be helpful for me.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You guys don't mind traveling to Holyoke or?
Oh, no. Do it right
All the time, brother.
Do it all the time. One other thing, since it looks like we're going to get a motion to continue shortly, just let me touch base on the railings to the steps. Are they going to maintain the pipe rail? Because that would be more appropriate than, in fact, the other type of railing wouldn't be appropriate, but.
Well, I mean, if a pipe rail is what is required, we could duplicate a pipe rail.
Yeah.
It's, that's not a problem. We might even be able to save those, because it looks like they're embedded in that bottom concrete step, and we would just build our stairs to that concrete step.
Yeah, those, I don't know if those are old, original, or replacement, or if they're just, piecework or whatever, but.
I would think that those have been replaced, but.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from here, but it's just a thought on that as well. And I appreciate your patience, Sal, because if you could provide some of those materials, this is a problem not having meetings in person, which the first meeting, you could have brought everything, we could have talked it, we could have looked at it, touched it, got a feel for it, but especially
make a few. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Please. No, you
I
go.
was just going to make a few notes. I know you're looking for addresses, right?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
the address of that one place in Holyoke. I mean, I don't know how many addresses you would like.
No, just, I think he was,
Okay.
I think Walter was mainly looking for that address.
Sure. You'd like to see a deck board, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to make make a comment about that. The PVC deck boards, I really shy away from that more than anything else, is that I don't think they can take that kind of beating. A PVC deck board with salt and everything else, and grime and grinding down on that stuff. So I'd be interested to see.
Exactly for this purpose.
I understand. I must be getting old.
No. For the decking, I'd prefer the something that really resembles the old fir decking.
Well, if it was fir decking, then, as I think it was Walter or Brian said, if you mix these two materials, it helps this transformation, if you will.
Yeah. Okay.
Commissioner Walsh,
I know that Mrs. Lalick is not a young lady, and I don't know if she wants to be painting her porch, but I will show you the tongue and groove porch flooring, because that's what it's designed for.
Mhm.
And then you guys could determine if you'd prefer to see wood, and we can go from there.
Okay, that's just what we're after, exactly that. And I think,
The lattice, and I'll also show you a piece of the PVC trim board.
okay,
Great.
that sounds good. And Alvin, you were just saying?
Yes, I was just going to tell each commissioner just to take the category into consideration, whether you feel this would fall under appropriateness or hardship.
Well, I'm not sure what the hardship would be. I am concerned about the appropriateness of it because we've never, if we end up with, if there's end up with a wood floor and a few other odds and ends or some combination that keeps it more historic, I am happier about that. But I'm having a hard time fitting it under hardship, other than, of course, it could be a financial hardship to have to repair it or replace it or whatever. We could explore that at some time. If she felt like there was a hardship involved, she'd have to ask for that to be changed. But if we continue, we can deal with that. We can check the material and deal with it at the next meeting. Okay. I'd entertain a motion to continue the application for certificate at 92 Furglade
So moved.
to the March what?
March 3rd, is it?
March 3rd meeting.
Yeah, March 3rd.
Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? And on the motion, well, I'll discuss some of it. It is to review materials, which we will see, Alvin, when you get them, let us all know so we can stop by and review material. And then if we get the address, those of us who are willing, and I certainly am, to go up and take a look at the property in Holyoke. And that's so. Any other discussion? Okay, Commissioner Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Belton,
Yes.
Commissioner Aaron Nardi,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is yes. So.
Can I add something, sir?
Yes, you sure can.
If it's all right with you, I will drop off those items.
Yep.
I'm going to be on vacation that week.
Okay.
I could have the young fellow that stood in for me last time.
Okay.
Or
If she would want you to be there, just have her send a request for an extension of time. And then we could push it out one more meeting. But she'll have to take the initiative to ask for the extension of time. Isn't that correct, Alvin?
That's correct. She can ask for either a 30 or 60-day extension.
Yeah, and so if she would be more comfortable with you, Al, then have her ask for an extension. Otherwise, we'll just
30-day extension from today.
from whatever
Or from the end of the application deadline.
Yeah, which gives her another couple meetings after that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for your patience. Yep. Okay.
So I'm out. I'm all set.
You're all set. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Okay, 34 Ingersoll Grove. This is an application for certificate of appropriateness for 34 Ingersoll Grove, remove and replace basement windows. No structural changes. Okay, is someone here for this? Let's see.
Yes.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
so there's no changes to the application?
No changes.
All right.
Mhm.
Any commissioners have any questions? Were there any public commentary on?
No, we didn't receive any comments for this matter.
Okay, any commissioners have any questions? All right, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness at 34 Ingersoll Grove to remove and replace the basement windows with no structural changes.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay, thank you for the second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, let me call the roll call vote. Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Belton,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes, Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you're approved to do that.
Okay, thank you. So do I just reach out to the
Alvin, yeah,
contractor? Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry.
yeah, because he has to give you the
Okay,
approval for that.
okay,
All right,
sure.
you're all
Okay,
set. Thank you very
okay,
much.
thank you so much. Have a good evening. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Okay. Now, for those of you with new hearings, I know a lot of you know the procedure here, but those of you with new hearings, we hear the petition today, then we have to wait for public commentary and we don't vote, so they will be continued by vote until the 3rd, and then allow for the public commentary, and then we would have a vote. So let me go to 400 Maple. 400 Maple Street. This is an application for certificate of appropriateness to add a gazebo to the left side of the property, 14 feet high, 10 feet in diameter. Material consists of carved marble with a wrought iron top similar to style wrought iron around the upper windows of the home. Okay, wow. Who's here for, let me see what the name is here. Cheryl Diet, is that what this is? No one here for the 400 Maple Street? Okay. Just remind me to, I don't know if you want to call them, Alvin, or what, but let me move on to the next. Okay.
This is Cherryvale.
Next is 33 Cherryvale. This is an application for certificate of appropriateness, 33 Cherryvale Avenue, to install 18 solar panels with an inverter and iron ridge rack into the back roof of the house. Conduit will run on the, I can't really read that, west side of the house, and the meter will be installed on the west side of the house. So that's David.
Yes, I'm here on his behalf. I'm
Okay.
Zach with Northeast Solar.
Okay, Zach, do we have permission for that?
Yes, it was provided to Commissioner Allen.
Okay,
I have an email. So
Okay. Do I have it here or no? Not yet. So, but you have it? Perfect.
I
Okay,
have
go
it,
ahead, go ahead, Zach. Just describe what the project's gonna be.
Yeah, can you allow me to screen share?
Absolutely. Happy to. Go ahead.
So can you see what
Yep,
the
yeah,
diagram?
I got it now. Yeah, sure.
So this is basically the south side of the property, which is
Okay.
not viewable from the road. The north side of the property is here, which is
Okay.
Cherryvale, which is roadside. Again, the
Okay.
entire array is going to be on the south side of the property.
Okay,
Couple other schematics. Again, this is the north side from Cherryvale. You will not see anything. If you are looking for something, you will see a utility meter, which is already there. Actually, that's not true. I think his utility meter is currently in his basement.
okay,
From the west side, which is barely viewable from the road, there will be a utility meter and then miscellaneous solar equipment, and then
Yep.
the conduit runs, which are basically a metal pipe taking the energy off the roof and into the house.
okay,
If you're really looking for it from the west side, you might see 3 panels. And
Okay.
from the east side, you might see an additional 3 panels.
sure.
But again, you'd
Yeah.
have to be looking at an extreme angle to see
Yeah,
that.
one of our main concerns, interestingly enough, is you might know this is the conduit in the meters and the boxes and the things like that. The objective is to make them minimally visible. Now it
Mhm.
sounds like I'm not sure what side the driveway's on. It looks like it's on the west.
It's actually the west side right here.
Now, are there houses to the right and left of this one?
Yes, but I believe there's a hedgerow.
Yes, but it's not a corner. There's not a corner house. That's
No.
not a corner of a street. That
No.
picture almost looks like, I don't know, I couldn't tell if that was part of a street or something. So it's in between 2 houses. Is there any, all this equipment, I mean, I appreciate the rendering. It's not usually that simplistic looking but we know that, they have the meter and everything. Is there any plan to minimize the visibility of both the conduit and the meter and the shut-offs and all the other things you have to do?
In an ideal world, yes, but there's utility requirements. It needs to be accessible and in view. So The
Well,
meter needs to be in view for the utility company. If you're gonna have a solar project, you need to have an AC disconnect within 10 feet of the meter.
Yes.
That's code. Conduit can be painted, Joe, though generally it's not. We try to do our best to hide it.
Yeah.
But there's, it isn't magic. You need to get
All right. I got a picture here of the west side of the house, and if the conduit's coming down, it almost looks like you could actually have it come down around that corner, but that's another thing. Whereabouts can you, that meter, now you have that meter, it looks like it's going to be about halfway up and there's some hedges, it looks like there's some growth there, hedging of some kind along the side of the house.
Mhm.
Okay. Is the conduit, I know most of the companies, it's a conduit that could be painted to match the house anyways, if the house were a particular color.
It could, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's, in general, this just seems like it's minimally, there's a lot of minimal visibility here. Do you have any idea how far from that back corner where the conduit is that these meter would actually be? I know that rendering, you're just putting them on that side of the house. The farther back, the better. They would be accessible and they'd be visible from the street, but it should fit. I'm not sure where the current meter is or if you have to do any other work for that. I mean, is the meter in the back of the house? Take the back in the
I
basement?
believe you want to keep the meter, generally speaking, within close proximity of the main service electrical panel, which I believe is in this corner. So use this as a guide. In all honesty, I think it's going to be shifted a little bit to the north.
To the front.
Right.
Okay. But it looks like there's doors there. I'm not sure. You couldn't go past, I can't really see open. Looks like windows. You couldn't go farther than that anyways. Okay. Any commissioners have any questions? Just give me a second to just look at the pictures one more time. I mean, it looks like the roof panels are clearly minimally visible, I think, and that's a good thing. But the house is in a great position to have them, which is also a good thing. I just don't have a good picture of that. The lower part of that the west side of the house. In fact, I don't have any pictures of the back, but this is all the top.
Driveways. Are you looking for the driveway side?
Yeah, I have that one from the back corner. I was wondering exactly what that was up the front. It looks like a door and, so it looks like it would be easy for them to.
Actually, I have that picture if you want it.
Sure, if you have a better one, go ahead. It looks like there would be some potential for this homeowner to do something that would, lower the visibility over time. So.
Yeah, this is currently the.
Oh, okay. That's just what I was looking for. So it would have to be be back behind that window.
Yes, back behind that window.
Okay. And they already have stuff there that's going to, make it minimally visible. I'm actually okay. I'm pretty good with this. If as long as nothing changes in the conduit is paintable to match the house. So far, we got to have open it to public commentary. Are there any commissioners have any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to continue the application. I could find it. The application for certificate of appropriateness at 33 Cherry Vale Ave to install solar panels. With the conduit running on the back west side of the house and the meter unit to be installed on the west side of the house.
So moved.
Okay.
And just help me understand the process next. It goes out for public comment, and then will you come back with a final determination?
Well, no, the next meeting, come to the next meeting on the 3rd, and we then make any public commentary into the record, if there is any, and then we make a motion to approve or not. And you might have been on earlier. I'm not sure if you were, just since you've asked the question. We're a quorum of the commission, not a quorum of those present. So we, at any time, we need 4 commissioners to say yes for something to happen, even if there's only 4 here. You know, I'm telling you right now that I think that this is, you know, you've got some minimally, you know, I think this is not a minimal thing there, and I actually don't have an issue unless something changes, if that meter is going to be somewhere else, or the conduit, you know, if the conduit could be made less visible, that'd be great too. But you know, conduit painted, it looks like they could fairly easily over time, even right away, make that, as long as they don't rip out all the growth they have there, that would be minimally visible anyways. It's sandwiched between 2 houses. It's not right on the street. You know, so I actually don't have an issue, but it's not me, it's a vote. And the vote and the requirement under public meeting laws that we allow for the public commentary. So that's why we have to we have to give people time to respond. And then if there is any, we'll play it. And then we'll just, if you're in with us 2 weeks, if you're on the call, you'll see, I'll just ask you if there's any changes or whatever. And if there happen to be, because lots of times they'll make little changes for us. If there's anything to talk about, and then we'll take a motion and take a vote. And
that will happen on March 3rd, 2 weeks from today.
That'll happen on March 3rd. So right now I have a motion to continue to March 3rd and a second. Any discussion from commissioners on that? Hearing none, let me call the roll call. Commissioner Belton?
Yes.
Just hold on a sec. Commissioner Belton, I'm on the wrong one here. Okay, Commissioner Nardi?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes. Commissioner Walter Kroll?
Yes.
And Commissioner McFarland?
Yes.
Okay, so we've continued that to the next meeting, and just, you know, keep in mind when you come back, if there's anything going to be different, let us know, and then we'll have a vote.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank
Have a good evening.
You too. Let's continue to 3322. Cool. Okay. Have we heard from Maple Street?
No, I'm going to try to give her a call. She did state that she would be out of town.
Oh, well, you want to just continue it?
Yeah, I'll give her a call again.
Okay.
If she can't make it, I'll let you know.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Oxford, 46.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The next item, Oxford Street, it's 2 applications, so I just want to make sure that's clear.
Okay, thank you for reminding me.
Commissioner Walsh, you're muted.
Hit it accidentally, so everybody got quiet for a minute. What was the last thing you heard me say? All right, we have
calling the item.
All right, so we have 2 applications. So this first is an application, we're going to take them separately. First is an application for a certificate of hardship at 46 Oxford Street to remove the rear chimney to below the roof line and cover with new roofing. Who's here to talk on these?
I am.
Okay, Paul, there you are. Thank you. I'm just going to add this other thing to the record, Paul, and then you can just tell us what's up. This is a hardship application because the chimney is in heat sink with neither architecture nor functional value. Chimney is visible from Oxford Street and is a significant architectural element of the building. It serves as a flue for the furnace. However, the second chimney at the rear of the house can only be seen from one street. Functional, useless, aesthetically invisible, and causes economic hardship in 2 ways. Waste heat in the wintertime to a continuing cost as long as the house exists. It adds cost for roofing material and labor needed to ensure there's no leakage. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward on this one. You just want to take the chimney out.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the pictures. If any commissioners got an opportunity to look at the pictures. Oh, I see. It's the one over that little dormer.
Yes, it's over a sleeping porch at the back. Yeah.
Is that what that is? Okay. Okay. And it's of no, it doesn't look like it has any significant design or features that you might want to
No, it's
It's just
actually, it's a
different
different
chimney.
brick. It's not even the same brick as the rest of the house.
Okay, so it was rebuilt at some time, I suppose, in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, and nothing else to add, or any commissioners have any questions?
Commissioner Walsh, there is a letter in the
Okay,
file.
all right, I got one here. Is there one letter or two? I think I see, is there another one?
So
There's
just-
one for each. Okay, this is to the members of Springfield Historic Commission. We are longtime next door neighbors of Paul and Margaret Martin, who live at 46 Oxford Street. They, like us, have been longtime supporters of historic preservation of the historic districts of Springfield. Paul Martin, also an ardent environmentalist, has gone to great lengths to reduce the family's carbon footprint, which is the underlying motivation for this project. We're in total support of their petition to remove a rear chimney and to install conduits for heat pumps. We feel that removal of the rear chimney in question is a relatively minor alteration, would not have any significant impact on the overall historic integrity of the house, and we would urge you to approve the request. Thank you for your time and consideration. Philip and Elizabeth Cotton, 52 Oxford Street, Springfield, Mass. Okay, so that's in there. Is that the only one here, Alvin?
That's correct, just one letter.
Okay, all right. Well, you have some support there. Okay, any commissioners have any questions? Okay. So we have to continue this as we were speaking, Mr. Martin, to the next
Yes.
meeting. I'd entertain a motion to continue the application for certificate of a hardship for 46 Oxford Street to remove the rear chimney to below the roof line, covered with new roofing.
So moved.
Okay, second.
Second,
Thank you, Tom. Is there any discussion on? Okay, let me call the roll call vote here. Commissioner Belton,
yes.
Commissioner Nardi, Commissioner Nardi, just shake your head. Okay, yes. Commissioner Walsh is yes. Commissioner Walter Kroll,
I didn't know we had an Al Nardi bobblehead. I want one. Yes.
and Commissioner Brian McFarland.
I think technically you need this. He needs a yes, not just a head shake. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
well, I figured he hit the
Yes.
button and say yes.
Answer is yes. Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
The attorney's reeling us in here, making
Thank
sure.
you, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you.
Working very hard over here.
Okay, that's the first one continued. And the second one is an application for certificate of hardship as well for conduit for piping serving heat pump inside unit covered with brown aluminum to look like drain conduit. And there's also let me just read this other letter that's in here on that letter, but information. It says heat pump conduits, in an effort to reduce my use of fossil fuels, I plan to heat and cool second floor rooms in my home with an air source heat pump. System will use indoor units known as mini split, with each room having its own heating cooling unit mounted on the wall. These units require circulating fluid from the outdoor heat pump. On the side wall near the front of the house and visible from the street will be a metal conduit, the size, shape, and color of the downspout for the rain from the rain gutters nearby. These conduits, one on each side, will parallel the rain gutters, but will end at the point where they enter into the room on the second floor. There will also be two more at the back of the house, not visible from Oxford Street. So the hardship application, because external conduit is the only practical way to install the systems. Visual impact will be minimal, as they will be the same, nearly the same. It'll be the same as nearby downspouts. Okay, so there's a picture with a rendering. Hopefully the color will be more accurate than the rendering, but
Well, I just used a Sharpie to mark roughly where it would be. I couldn't.
I know I'm just being a little on the light side here.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Martin?
No, that's, again, it's just energy improvement for the house. That's
Okay.
my goal.
Okay. Are there any commissioners that have any questions? Hearing none, I would get that application back in front of me. Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to continue the application for certificate of hardship at 46 Oxford Street for the conduit for pipes serving heat pump inside out, covered with brown aluminum to look like the drain conduit.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Got 2 firsts and 2 seconds. That's a good sign. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, let me call the roll call vote. Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes. Commissioner Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Belton.
Yes.
Okay, so those are both continued. And we'll send to the 3rd. And then for public commentary and anything else comes in, we'll put in the record then. And if anything changes between now and then, just fill us in then. And in the meantime, we're continued to the 3rd.
Okay, so this will be at the same time, 2 weeks? Is that how that works?
Same time, same place.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Okay, any word from Maple?
I called and it went to voicemail, so I would say
Okay.
that we can
And
continue.
entertain a motion to continue the application for certificate of appropriateness at 400 Maple Street to add the gazebo to the left side of the property.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
thank you, Tom, for the second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, let me call the vote. Commissioner Walsh says yes. Commissioner Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Belton,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll continue that to the 3rd. 3322. Okay. Okay, now we got. All right, discussion, Community Preservation Act, Historic Determinations Project Reviews, 37 Chestnut Street. Request the CPA funds for restoration of the church building. This is the Church Christ Cathedral and the oldest remaining structure on the Springfield Quadrangle.
Commissioner Walsh, just to inform everyone, so with CPA matters, again, this is just a reminder. You guys are tasked with figuring out whether or not the structure is deemed to be historically significant. And then secondly, you're going to decide whether or not you want to support the project with a letter of support.
Right. Okay. Well, has everybody reviewed their packet, looked at the pictures? Current tempered glass, okay. I'm fairly certain that we would find that this is a historically significant building. And I would entertain a motion to say so. Is there anybody here that from the Christ Church Cathedral that wants to speak first?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Jablonski, go ahead.
Well, can I just say hello to everybody, and we're happy to present a lot of memories coming back, but can I screen share so we can just go
Absolutely.
through?
Yep, please do, sir. We'd love to have you screen share with us.
People are seeing. Okay, so.
It takes a second though, it'll take a second before it clicks in.
Is my screen being shared?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not sure why, but.
Alvin, or do you have to assign me permission to screen share? Because I was screen sharing.
No, you should be able to screen share.
Because I'm looking at the aerial photo of the church. Does anybody else see that?
No, not yet.
Well, maybe we won't be able to.
Okay, I have a number of pictures here. If you just want to talk us through it, we do
Yeah.
have.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, that's quite all right.
Maybe Alvin, could you screen share what the document that we sent in? It's a little more, we try to pare it down, but if you could put it up, I could. Or if someone could screen share.
Yeah, you know what?
Okay, all right.
There you go.
So,
That's it.
yeah, so, I mean, I hate to be flippant about it, but obviously, in my opinion, this church is no question that it contributes to the historic district, and these aerial photos that show the proximity to the quadrangle and the historic detail, I think speak for themselves. Would you rather have us go through the whole thing and then, because it might make more sense instead of, or do you want to vote on the historic significance now?
Well, it doesn't matter which order we do it in. You know, I agree completely. The historic significance is not in question here. So we could take a vote on the historic significance first. Why don't we just do that? I'd entertain a motion that states that the commission agrees that this Christ Church Cathedral is of historic significance.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that motion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call the roll. This is for the significance. This is Commissioner Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Belton.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is yes. Okay, now the details are the more, you know, the more difficult one if anything kind of crops up. So if you want to take us through, please, you know, go ahead.
Yeah, so Alvin, I'm just gonna have to work with you because if you could scroll through the document. So what you see now is on the upper left is the original, I'm not sure exactly what date, but it's a historic picture before the bell tower was built. And then to the right on the top is the view of the historic elevation, which pretty much looks exactly that same way today. And then on the bottom left is an aerial view of the flat roof that basically was put on to protect the entrance to the basement from falling snow. And the middle bottom shows the exact, you know, head-on view. And in the bottom right is also that flat roof. And the reason why we're showing this is to kind of orient you, and basically that's what our proposal, or one part of our proposal, is to build a structure that has more historic ambiance or significance. And so we'll go to the next one, please. So this is the view. I don't know if you, Alvin, can you zoom in on one of those drawings, or can you enlarge? Yeah, if you zoom in. Okay, so that's good. And so this is a view of the front elevation, and basically the materials, we do have a colored rendering, but since I can't do the screen share, this is black and white. But basically the materials are cast stone to, and it'll be the same color brownstone as the stone on the cathedral. And then, so those are the arches and the columns. And then the above the arches is going to be brick. And then we have a metal roof, and there's a tiny small amount of wood trim on the sides of the roof, and there's wood trim on the sides of the current church. What you see on this straight on view, which is basically what you would see coming in from the parking lot, is a wrought iron gate. And the reason why we're proposing a wrought iron gate is that for security, we either need to have a door or a gate, and so we're opting for the gate. Could you scroll over just to the right, please, a tad? Yeah, and so this is what it would look like from Chestnut Street. You see three, just starting on the left of this diagram, we're not going to go up and actually touch the existing brownstone with our new metal roof to avoid having to intersect with the historic brownstone, but we're going to stop probably about 2 feet short of that. We're going to cover the existing concrete roof with this sloped metal roof. And there are portions of metal roof on the church already. So it's the main concept here is to blend in pretty much exactly with the church as much as we can. And you see the 3 arches from the side, the cast stone column. One of the things that we may or may not be able to show you, but I guess if you would take my word for it, that the cast stone columns are an exact duplicate of columns that are they're natural stone carved, but they're on the church tower facing Chestnut Street. And again, you see the infill of the wrought iron grills, and you see the sheet metal roof. So that's pretty much the side entrance. And then the second, so that's part of our proposal for the funding to the CPA. And the second part is to do some restoration of stained glass windows. So okay, so actually, so here you kind of see, I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit, Alvin, on the upper left photo. Yeah, you see the columns that are in between the arches there?
Yes.
That's pretty much, we're going to copy those exactly. And they're going to be made out of cast stone, though. We are not going to copy the brownstone arch because that's a little too much. So we're going to make the arch out of cast stone and then put brick on top. The brick color will blend in, will be basically the same color as the brownstone.
Okay.
So now if we could scroll to the stained glass, and then we could, so that's a picture of one of the rose window stained glass, but that's already protected. So I think we have another part of our application that shows the specific stained glass windows that were.
Yeah, you just, yeah, the next,
Okay.
whatever the next
Yeah.
picture is.
So here's the next picture. And we have more pictures of the stained glass, but I think this will, just in respect to time and people's attention span, but basically with stained glass, most people, they consider them a huge resource. They're expensive, so they cover them with protective glazing. And historically, as you can see in these 2 photos, there's in the past, there was some, I don't know if it was Lexan or some kind of plexiglass, but it's faded and it's fogged up, and it's also not vented correctly. So the actual lead caming is suffering due to this protective glazing. So our proposal is to remove the fogged plexiglass and replace it with laminated clear glass that will never fade. And we're also going to vent the cavities correctly so that the lead caming will not further deteriorate. Just as an aside, it's not really pertinent to you as historical commissioners, but it is pertinent because I just happened to mention this to Bob McCarroll today, because who's the head of the CPA, as I'm sure you all know. And he's very concerned about religious symbolism in stained glass windows, and the CPA not, being able to fund that. So with his tip, we're gonna, thankfully for us, there are a majority of windows that basically have geometric and color patterns. They have no religious symbolism at all. Full disclosure, there are some that have religious significant or symbolism, and we're going to exempt those from our request for public funding. So in a nutshell, we're asking for assistance with public funding from the CPC for building this, what we feel is an appropriate new entrance into the community hall, and to replace the faded glazing on the stained glass for only the geometric and the natural or floral pattern windows.
And the restoration of the windows too.
Right, okay, yeah. I wanted to introduce Donna Barton, who's our chief warden, head warden, is also on the call. And so, yeah, so we're going to replace the glazing, but because of the lack of venting, some of the stained glass needs some reworking, basically restoration.
Okay. No, there's, okay, restoration, I see. I'm just reading through the restoration pages here. Okay, so some of this doesn't pertain to what you're, some of these sheets don't pertain to what you're asking of us, because it's clearly showing.
Yeah, and that's why I beg your pardon, because of my long time on the commission, I try to edit it down to 4 sheets, which is what I have, but since I can't screen share, I can't show you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Any commissioners have any questions?
Just make a comment.
Please do, Commissioner Nardi.
I think you did a great job with the details on the top of the bottom of those wrought iron verticals. I think it was very clever the way you did that up against that arch.
Thank you.
It works really well.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead, Mr. Jablonski, if you have something.
Well, I just wanted to follow up on Al's, because Donna knows this, that we had considered putting in windows, but then when you consider they might get broken or whatever, and we really are not concerned with heating the space. It's frankly for, in this day and age, if you don't do some kind of crowd control, you regret it. And, we see the results at our church pretty much every week. So we knew we had to control the crowd, and we opted for a wrought iron look that we feel is appropriate for the Victorian style of the church.
Okay, well, any other comments, commissioners? If not, I'd entertain a motion that we send a letter of support for the project.
So moved.
Sure, second.
Second.
Second, thank you, Thomas. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, call the roll vote. Commissioner McFarland?
Yes.
Commissioner Belton?
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes, and Commissioner Walter Kroll?
Yes.
Okay. Appreciate that work that you're going to be doing there. Hopefully this will get you going in the right direction.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Your vote.
Okay. No,
Have a good evening.
You too. Okay, let's see what we got. We have a section 106 review. 1 Federal Street. Is that it?
So yes, previously at the last meeting, this was on for the last meeting, and there just wasn't any information provided. All they provided was simply just maps of where it would be, but there was no information in regards to how many antennas, what they, what the dimensions would be, and sort of how they would be situated on the building. So I think they did supply some new information, which I included in the information packet that you guys should have.
Yeah, well, I don't have it on my screen. It's not in the file. But if there's anything you that we need to see, if you could put it up for us. It's just us now. Yeah, I can read that. Okay. Okay, so we have those already obviously existing, so they're adding one similar. What else? Which other ones are they adding on the ends? Oh, no. The other end, was there something? Proposed, so that's all they're
Looks like it's
changing?
all centered in this
Just that
location.
middle is the only thing they're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Any questions? Any commissioners wanna? Doesn't look like it's gonna change.
No.
What's already there much. Just hold on one sec. I'll catch up in a sec. What do we need for this one, Alvin?
This one is basically going to state whether or not it's an adverse impact.
That's right, adverse impact. I was looking, that's the word. I can remember the words, adverse impact. I'm actually okay with it. That's all they're doing is adding that one. Somebody want to make a motion? Either that we agree that there's no adverse or that we think it's an adverse impact, whichever you prefer.
I would make a motion that there's no additional adverse
Yeah, I like that.
in the
Impact.
to the existing site.
Okay, is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Al. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll take the vote on Federal Street. Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Belton,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes, and Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Okay. So it's no increased, nothing more adverse. Okay, next, another 106 review at 1 Allen Street. You have any of those pictures? You have that? I don't have that here in front of me, so if you want to put that stuff up, you can too. That'd be great.
Okay. And again, with this structure at 1 Allen Street, there's already quite a bit of antennas on the clock tower as it stands. They're just adding 3 more to what's already there.
Yeah, that's top of that's a mess. I don't, however, think it's going to be any more adverse. There's nobody has any questions. If not, I'd entertain that motion to be made. How that either the motion is that there are no further adverse effects, or that there are, whichever you prefer.
So moved. There are no further.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Nardi. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, guys. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, let me call the roll call. So this is a no further adverse. Okay, Commissioner Belton,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes, Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
and Commissioner McFarland is yes. Okay, for those two. Okay, discussion guidelines for new construction. Well, I know you told me it was in here, but I'm not finding it.
I
No,
haven't
there's no
seen it.
file. There's no file. So
Oh, I
just-
thought you said you put it in my, you just put it in the
yeah,
agenda.
I just put it on the agenda as it
No,
was
I
a
thought you
request
said
of
you
it.
put it in the file for me.
Is it something that's already written that we're supposed to be looking at, or?
Now, at the last meeting, you guys, I can't recall who requested it, for it to be on the agenda, but you guys asked for it to be on the agenda, so I added it as an agenda item for discussion.
I see.
Yeah, I think I wanted it to stay on the agenda for a while till we get a chance to review it and what have you. Do we have something like that you can put up? Or is that not where we're going tonight?
I mean, the only guidelines I have is basically what Shannon and I came up with for that particular structure on Thompson Street. But there's no other guidelines that
Right.
have been, put together.
Okay, so that's something that we want to talk about, putting something together. Does everybody have a copy of the guidelines you guys made? I know I do. I think you sent that out probably more than once. If you want to send it out to everybody again, just to make sure everybody has it, it'd be good.
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Why don't you appoint a subcommittee to put together some guidelines for review?
Well, I don't know that, I would rather have us, unless we've all reviewed it sufficiently so far, I'd rather have us all look through it one time. And then
Okay.
the next meeting, we should do that, because that way everybody will have a feel for what they want to add or whatever, and we can probably accomplish more that way.
Okay. So you can send them out again, because for some reason, I don't find it.
Yeah. I mean,
That'd be great.
I don't remember when I got it, but I remember reading that from you. But, I think if we all look it over at that time, then we might need to have a subcommittee thing. Or we may feel like we don't, if we think we can attack it, in this format or not. But I agree, we may need to do that. So that's a great idea. So then we can move on to the next one, and then it's Attorney Shuchuk's turn to entertain the commission. Looks like he might have, he is turning himself back on.
Actually, I'm sorry, we skipped over an item.
What did I skip this time?
The war memorial?
Number 2, letter of support.
No, that's right. Where did I miss that?
Should be number 2, letter of support, Winchester Square, Vietnam War Memorial Statue.
Okay, did you send, is that on a? I'm looking at the one you gave me yesterday, so that wasn't on it yet. Sorry about that, Tom, because we know this is a great one, but can we just have Commissioner Attorney, just address those other two, and then we'll jump real quick back, because I don't know if you have anything to tell us.
No, there are a couple emergencies that I had to take care of the last couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to get to anything. I'll get to it by next week, I promise.
Well, you got two. Take your time. Okay, so let's get back to Tom.
Counselor Shuchuk, you are going to be doing wind sprints.
I know.
Okay, so the next one.
He's my old coach, so everyone's aware. Just sorry to cut you off, Commissioner Walsh.
That's quite all right. Tom, I apologize for missing you.
Okay, I've been here. I don't feel missed.
That's good. The floor is yours.
Okay. My name is Thomas Felton. I'm the Director of Veteran Services for the City of Springfield, and I'm also a combat Vietnam veteran. And some time ago, we went to Congressman Neal to see about getting that monument up in Winchester Square on the National Register. And at that time, he informed us that we had to wait till it hit 50 years. Okay. We have waited till it hit 50 years. And there have been several celebrations up there commemorating the veterans' lives that were lost and a number of things. But as I did my research work, there's never been a formal application submitted to have this monument get any form of formal status. So I took it upon myself to start the process with the Massachusetts Historical Commission and do this as a historical object. It's potentially the oldest Vietnam Veterans Monument in the country. And we want it to get proper recognition because we want to get it on the national, but they have recommended first get it on the state register, and that'll make it easier to get it on the national.
Okay. Well, as you know, Tom, everybody here appreciates not only that you are a combat veteran of Vietnam, but that you took that life work and made it your own to take care of vets along the way. In fact, you know, how many years ago reaching out to me to give me an idea of what some of the things people my son could talk to. But I really appreciate you for that. I agree with you 100% that we should try to make this, whatever we can do to help this happen. I would love to do to make this happen.
And I could have submitted the package without a letter of support from you folks, but being on the commission for the number of years that I've been on there, I've learned the significance of what the Historical Commission can actually do. So I said I was going to come in front of you folks and ask for a letter of support to go into the Massachusetts Historical Commission to help get this put on the Massachusetts Register of Historical Monuments or Objects.
Well, let me ask whoever would like to have the honor of making this motion to speak up.
So I just want to interject real quick. So Tom, you're making this request as a resident of the city of Springfield or as an employee of the city of Springfield, not as a member of the Springfield Historical Commission, just for.
No, I'm not making it as a member of the Springfield Historical Commission. I'm making it as the Director of Veteran Services for the city of Springfield.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. And therefore you would recuse yourself from a vote.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he would have recused, Alvin, but thank you for the technicality. It's good to be accurate.
Thanks for doing my job, Alvin. Thank you.
I would have got there, by the way. I would not have had Tom voting on this, but you know, it's good to have it known this way. So anyway, like I said, we would like to make that motion.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, thank you. And so let me call this lovely vote. I'm going to start with the Tom abstaining and recusing. And Commissioner Nardi?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes. Commissioner Walter Kroll?
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland?
Yes.
Okay. Approved. And we would love to, you know, obviously you'll keep us in the loop on this, but I would love to have that happen for us. Okay. If I missed anything else, I happened to see, Alvin, I did notice it on the front page of my vote sheet that it was there, but it wasn't in my agenda. So is there anything else to be discussed?
We got the two non-compliance.
Oh, well, here, Attorney Shuchek already answered that. He's going to get back to us in 2 weeks. And if there's nothing else, Julissa, is there anything you'd like to add or ask or You're observing and learning quickly.
Just observing.
Yeah. All right. And anybody else? Okay. Then my favorite motion is I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Tom jumped right on out quick. Second. All in favor, just say aye. Aye.
What's up?
Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Everybody.
All right.